Hi guys, I'm excited to be here today. I was like, if I don't do this video now and if I don't do it anyhow, I wouldn't do it at all. But I've been off. Why do I need to explain anything to you people? What I just came to tell you people now is that I've been on the road. I've read three books back to back. Like, you know how you can be in a state where you've not read, like you're struggling to read books, like you're like, oh my god, I need to read like so and so books per month, and like you've never read like one book in 2 months, like you've not finished, not like read, you've not finished, or you're starting one, you're dropping, you're starting another one. I've been in that zone, and then all of a sudden it picked up. Like I like to tell people that there are books that open up your, you know when, you know when a, how do I want to say, you know when somewhere is blocked and then you now use an external source to, maybe like a flow of water, maybe like a type tap to eat it, and then boom, it bursts open, then there's a flow. Yeah. I feel like there are books that do that. Like there are some certain books that you read that they open up the floodgates. Like you want to read other books, like you get into the zone. There are books that gets you in the zone. Anyways, that's what happened to me. Like I've been reading other books, but they were non-fiction. Okay, wait. I read one fiction earlier in the year. I can't remember the name. How's that possible? I think it was an Adesua book. I think it was an Ades. Yes, it was an Adesua book. It was one of these love stories. It was. I'd remember the name and put it on the screen, but I remember it now and I enjoyed the book. But like I went on to like spiritual and then non-fiction. God, this is the reason why I don't do non-fiction. I've been reading Five Regrets of Dying People since forever. I'm still like 60%, maybe like 60% in. I'm not done yet. I swear this is not what I came here to talk about. Anyways, I read Tell Our Secret by BC Abjadon. I'm pretty sure that's a Ghanaian name that I can't pronounce well. But I read it and it just, for me this time it was like it was the book that opened up, the flow for me to like read more books. So I read that. Afterwards I read Nine Bloom by Peace Ad God, I'm struggling. It's Peace Mezier. I think it's Mezier. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it as it's an Igbo name. But I read that one, and then I just finished reading. Don't tell Daddy what happened in Lagos by, I think it's a Yomi Odufa or something. I feel very happy. I won't lie. I feel really happy. Like I enjoyed the book. Like I'm one of those literature in English students. Like when I was in, like as an art student, literature was my favorite subject, and I loved it because you see when we do when we do team, we do settings, we do, oh, what's the major theme of this stuff, what's the minor themes, what are the other things, what are the issues, where was it set, what's the narrative, like the first person narrative, blah, blah, blah. Oh my god, I enjoyed it so much. Like we'd write literature in English exams and I would just be taking extra shit back to back to back to back. So whenever I read books, like when I get with like my book babes, like some of my friends that are into books, like we have conversations, and at the end of the day we realize that that this is what we used to do in literature class. That's what we are doing here. But yeah, I really enjoyed the books. I feel like I don't know if I can do book reviews without giving spoilers, but I'm going to try. So for Tellers of Secrets, I enjoyed Tellers of Secrets. It was set in Ghana. I was like a story about this young lady who was both part Nigerian, part Ghanaian, and like just our journey to, should I say journey to womanhood? Yeah, journey to womanhood. I think that works. And it just, I feel like my major takeaway from that book is like dangers of lack of lack of sexual education for young women, like growing women, because like when this babe was young till she was a certain age, like people were just very abstract around the subject of sex. So there was no sexual education. Like people were not telling her how, what exactly things were, and she had to figure out a lot of things on her own. She got exposed to sex at a really, really young age, had no idea what it was. She was seeing other people participate in it, had no idea what it was, thought it was something good because of what she had seen that people did not know she saw. And it just took us through that. And most importantly, it kind of touched on, um should I say, body autonomy. I don't know if that's the right word, but the importance of women like making active choices for themselves, especially when it comes to their body. So you see this character in the book, she wasn't making active choices about protecting herself, having like she was literally having unprotected sex and she was getting pregnant and she was coerced into getting abortions. I said I wasn't gonna give spoilers. Sorry. But it just showed how important it was if she had like because she didn't have presence of a mother. She grew up with her dad and an auntie like maybe like a, let's say stepmom and some older sisters in the house who never really spoke about these things openly. Like they spoke about it but in abstract to tease to whenever really how you sit down and say okay this is what this is how it should be and all those things. So nobody really took out the time to do that for her. Like the earliest she knew about post pills was when she went to Lagos. Yeah, I said the book is set in Ghana and Nigeria. That's Lagos and I think it was in Ibadan at some point, but Lagos. And maybe like an auntie from her mom's side who kind of like told her about post pills and stuff. And so we just see the journey like it literally the story has that as a major theme. I think it also kind of explores um a bit of identity issues for people that are bicultural. Is that the right word? People that come from two different like cultural or what's the I don't know what I can remember now, but like she's part Ghanaian, part Nigerian, and we see her like struggle at some stage with being not being a pure Ghanaian or a pure Nigerian, like I say half breed, but that's not the word. But yeah, so it kind of explored that topic too. But majorly, like major topic was really on like our sexual identity and making choices for ourselves and our body. And I think that the books I've read, like at least the first two speaks on women issues. Like I didn't even know when I was reading this book. When I started, I didn't know that that's what we could be on. But I just realized when I finished that what they were actually addressing women issue. Because at the end of that book, she made a conscious decision that what it is her body, it's her choice. She has to make good conscious decisions for herself. Make sure that she protects herself because it is her responsibility at the end of the day. At the end of the day. Anyways, let me not talk too much about that. After talking too much about it. Second book, Night Bloom. I really like that. Wait, I wanted to say something else. For Teller of Secrets, I think one issue that I had was the narrative. Like, I feel like there's this thing that authors do nowadays the where the narration is by I think first person narrative, and so because of that, they want to present the words in the in the speech of a let's say 6 year old or a 7 year old, and then everything is just jumbled up like in my own opinion because I'm like okay if the impression if I'm supposed to be reading this as the author the narrative is in the voice of a 7 year old or a 6 year old, like why is she using some words like there's some words there I'm like Níbo lo ti gbọ́wọ́ di? Like no matter how much okay you read, I know that like actually you read a lot you get some words, but there were some that I was like, I don't know. I wouldn't think that I would hear such words or hear such elaborate construction from such a person at that certain age. So I think that sometimes authors get carried away. Because I had the same issue with is it tomorrow I become a woman? Because allegedly the person narrating the main character was doing the narration did not go to school, or she went to school she didn't finish like primary something or nursery something or something like that, and so it was like pidgin. It was like mix of English and pidgin, but it wasn't gelling. I'm like this thing at some point the English is clear, at some point is not. I'm like just stick to one. Yeah, like I don't want to, like if you're going to give me a narrative the narrative person, I want to see not just with the story but with the language, like with the words. I want to see that progression of oh this is a 7 year old talking, and when this person moves to like a 15-year-old lady, a 20 something year old lady, a 19-year old, I want to see that improvement in language. Not that like from the beginning you're giving me a mix and then at some point you even just forget that that's what you were doing and then you move ahead. Anyways, what am I doing like critic, like literally literary critic. Anyways, the second one, Nine Bloom, I enjoyed like Nine Bloom, also set in Ghana. I don't know why, that was there was no conscious decision, but like it was set also set in. Ghana. Okay, this was not Ghana or Nigeria. This it was Ghana, like Ghana and the United States. Um, but the author is she's Ghanaian, and immediately I just saw the name. I knew I was going to read the book because I'd read His Only Wife by the same author, and I absolutely enjoyed His Only Wife. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to read this book, and I did. It kind of like centered around. Wait, before I go on, I just need to mention that the author of this book has is it master's or PhD in something that has to do with gender and international studies or something like that. I like when I finished His Only Wife and I saw what like I read her bio at the back, I was like, Abajo. Because the way she just because you know that at the end of the day, she was attacking gender issues. And so I thought I was like immediately I saw the book was written by her. I was like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this book. And so I did. It was around like two women, like two cousins that grew up together, had a strenuous relationship along the way, and they went apart, and so it kind of gave us two different perspective growing up, two different perspective of the same issue. So at first we see the first character, and we see her life through when she and her cousin were close, when they were not close, when they had a fallout, how she viewed things from her own perspective, going into her own life, having kids and all of that. Then we see the second person, our own life, things through our own perspective. And then the third part of the book was two of them together. It was, like more like present day in quotes now, because we saw two of them coming together and, trying to figure out what went wrong and how they now, because at that third part, they had realized that they were both victims of similar circumstances. It was really nice. I think the main theme for Nine Bloom was, I think I would say it's the danger of um of not speaking up against abuse, sexual abuse and harassment, because the one of the characters got no spoilers, I am pussy, but she let's say there was like let me assume like a 15-year gap between when one something happened to the first character and something similar happened to the second character, and it took them a while for them to realize that, oh my god, the same thing happened. And you know if the first person had spoken up when it happened, if they had if they had seen that thing through to the end to make sure that this guy doesn't go free with what he did, it probably wouldn't have happened to the second person, because it was such a and it shows how much trauma people that experience sexual abuse go through, how it can really like change the course of their lives. Like literally they can be going this path, and abuse can be it can be such a defining moment, like a negative defining moment, such that they they change paths completely. Like they change, like it literally changes the course of their life completely. And I really like how Peace like addresses gender issues with her books, like gender issues that women face, women issues, not just gender, women issues. And yeah, I really like I would totally recommend these two books. I don't want to say, because if I say too much, I'm going to give spoilers. I feel like if you read this book, come into my comment, let us just properly. Third book, what drew me to this third book, that's don't tell daddy what happened in Lagos, was when I opened it and I was like, okay, what's happening here? I saw that it was a stage play. It was a drama, stage play, a drama. And it took me back, like immediately I saw it, the first thing I remembered was reading Trials of Brother Jero by Wale Soyinka. I don't know if anyone read that book, but that was like one of my favorite books when I was growing up. And I didn't have access to like a lot of books. I remember I used to borrow that book a lot from one of my English teachers in secondary school. I used to borrow that book. I would read and read Trials of Brother Jerry. I would read and read and read when I'm bored, because it was a social media. I would read the book, and it gave me like that was the first thing that came to me. Then I saw scene one, stage Kineko. I saw, where they put like the different names and introduce characters to us. Oh, this person. I was so excited. I was like, nah, I'm going to read this book. And I did, and I really enjoyed it. It was really a drama. Like it was really a drama. I didn't really see the end coming, but it kind of addresses issues of grief, faith, yeah, faith, like Christian faith, and how grief can impact your faith, how it can move you and make you do things that are questionable. I want to say unquestionable, but questionable, very questionable. Ugh, I really enjoyed it, and it's not a large book. Like it's like 51 pages or thereabouts. So it's something that you can finish in a sitting. So yeah, that's what I've been up to, and these are the three books I've read. Let me know what books you're reading currently. Like I want more recommendations. Like I know fiction is my way. Like anytime I do non-fictions, I just do them because sometimes the knowledge is important, but like fiction has always been my thing. African fiction, non-African fictions. I wanted to say that one thing I really liked about Nine Bloom was that there are some books that are addictive. Like you can't, the way people say, "Oh, you're watching like some movies and then you can't sleep, you can't do anything until you finish that movie." There were some books I read last year that were addictive, and while that's like it's a good quality. I mean, I'm going to work. It's not the most optimal thing if I'm stuck on a book and I can't concentrate at work. I can't concentrate anywhere till I finish the book. But what I really liked about Nine Bloom was that it had the right mix of addiction and what's now. I don't know, but like it had that addictive feature, but it was not too much. Like I could concentrate at work, but immediately I close my laptop. I'm on my way home. I have this book open. I'm on my way to work. I have this book open. I get back from work. I have this book open. Then I can put it aside, do other things, come back to it. So it had that perfect blend for me. I was like, oh my God, I need to go back to this book, but also the patience of I can do other things and then get back to it. But yeah, let me know what books you're reading. Like, I really want more book recommendations. And if you've read these books, please come to my DM. Let's just. All right, bye.